Hello and welcome to Stampscapes Friday Night Live. We have a half-page elongated card base here. It's a dark blue, okay, and we're going to make this into a reflection card. He came up with the idea last night. And normally I have two different components for this reflection card format or horizon card format. But I'm going to be using this dark blue card base anyway, so all I've done is folded this piece of cardstock in half. Then we have a 4¼ by 11-inch piece of silver mirrored cardstock. And we're just going to be positioning this directly in here. Okay, so that's going to be the format of our card. It's going to be an interior, whatever, like splash page, full page type of scene in here. And this top portion will be reflected in this bottom portion. I've pre-stamped some imagery, and it's going to be a little bit of a construction here. I've stamped a moon out onto a piece of printable holographic vinyl sticker paper to give it these different colors in here. And we'll see about using this in here or a glow-in-the-dark version of that same moon. The glow-in-the-dark version is going to kind of harmonize better with this. But I just thought about this moon in holographic, and I've never done that before, so I might want to just utilize that. Just because of it's a new, whatever, element or version of a moon in my scenes, something I haven't seen before. And then I've stamped out these ledges right here, okay? This is going to go in the corner of this foreground, and then I'm going to put this piece right over here, okay? So that's going to be the foreground. I'll color these and render them so that when they're applied on the top of this silver cardstock, they'll provide me with a interesting foreground in here. You can leave it all open too, but sometimes it's interesting to have a little bit of foreground for some extra dimension and depth. Okay, so that being said, I was getting some practice in with my white on dark pigment ink technique that I've done in the past many times. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to be applying some white pigment ink down here. It's going to represent some clouds, and we're going to get a good base going in here. And I'm going to stamp those ledges, those same ledges, right over here. I guess, the thing that could possibly make this even go faster is for me to stamp out a couple other ledges and just to glue them down on this surface. I don't know, maybe that would match better too, but I'm going to have these other cloud formations up here so that when we stamp something black over the top of this dark, they'll show up. You just can't stamp black over this and have it, it's going to be completely black over like a 90%, grayscale value, so you wouldn't be able to see it. So we have to get some tones in the background going first, because this is landscape stamping. Clouds are a perfect kind of vehicle for providing kind of a backdrop for our imagery when it's done on a dark base like this. Okay, so I'll be using this is a matte paper, so you can use any brand of white pigment ink. You can use a Hero Arts, or I don't know, whatever. There's all kinds of different brands out there. And then I'll be stamping probably my Brilliance black pad ink, which is another pigment ink, over the top of this white in the background, okay? But you can use something like any other brand of white pigment ink, and something like a lot of people like VersaFine Clair or something like that. You can use that. And I say that because sometimes I'm stamping on, glossy cardstock or something like that, and your oil-based inks, like pigment inks, besides Brilliance, won't really dry on that type of surface. Okay, so I'm loading up my white ink into this cotton ball right here. I'm really kind of smashing it down and pressing some of that ink back into the cotton ball so I have a lot of ink to work with and to apply onto the surface like this. And okay, so let me get my bearings here. I think I'm going to put like a bank of clouds like this, and I'll have it go down like this. I think I'll go from kind of high right to low left or something like that. All right, so I'm just going to get a nice foundation right here just to kind of get my, I don't know, cloud formation scheme going here. And you can see it's just a very light application, okay? It's a thin application. I'm not pressing down hard. Sometimes when people start applying something like this and they don't see very much of an application, they press harder. And then there's like a blob of ink that comes out or something like that. So you want to go really lightly. And if you're going to build something up, you want to rather do it with repetition rather than pressure and getting some other type of, you know, mark down that you might not want. Okay, now down here it's going to be my foreground, okay? So that doesn't have to be real soft and billowy, so I'll just get that established right in here. You can go over this bottom ledge area right here, this bottom fold, because I'm going to have that other silver cardstock down here anyway, and it's going to be covering up anything, so it doesn't have to be, you know, whatever, neat and tidy on the base here. If you get kind of a blobby kind of application of this, just kind of work it and smooth that out a little bit, layer it. What you might find too when doing this type of process is you might start doing that type of action. It's like you're actually removing some of the ink as opposed to transferring it. So don't be surprised at that if that happens. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go over here. I'm just flipping this over like this because I can have access over here easier and I can just kind of see what I'm doing. Let me get my bearings here. This is where my moon is going to go probably. So I don't want to blank out everything because I want to have this like corona going around this moon like that. So I got a couple little blobby areas like that. So I'll just kind of smooth them out a little bit like so. Okay, I think that's roughly kind of a raw, very raw application for where I want things to be. I don't have a really firm grasp on where things are going to be going. But let's see here. Let me see, I wonder if I have, if you can hear me, can anyone make a comment in the section here? I'm not sure if I'm live or not. I had some technical problems yesterday. Let's see, test. Ingrid, can you see if I'm live? Can you see my desk? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Can you just maybe make a comment? Okay, I'm back. I wasn't sure if I was live or not. I had this issue come up yesterday, and I was seeing if... Okay, you can hear me though, right, Candy? got this error message yesterday, and I wasn't quite sure if I was on or not. All right, so anyways, filling in like this, and we're getting a good base here. So I'm going to be like a little bit of a construction card here in terms of the different components on here, more so than, I don't know, whatever, a lot of times in the past. All right, let's see. Do I have a ripped paper towel here? I do. But let's rip it a little bit more. I like to get a little bit more of a variation in my clouds. So we'll do that's a little bit sharp. All right, we have our foundation like that. So let's add in some additional forms right in there. Kind of move your towel around a little bit, your template, as you go. And that lends itself to a more kind of organic and moving feel to this formation back here. Let's see. It isn't so static, okay? Nature kind of clouds are kind of moving and ever changing, of course, with the wind. And that's what we're trying to do here. And plus, when we're doing it this way, it kind of takes out the kind of the need for anything really too careful and I don't know, like static, I guess. It doesn't have to be perfect. And by having it a little bit more kind of organic like that and varied, you know, the blotchiness kind of, I don't know, it almost contributes to kind of a more like realism, you know. But I get it though. It's like when doing it like this, it's like we might look at it and it's like, that looks kind of weird. But then you know what you do is you just kind of keep working it a little bit more, and it develops, and then it gets more opaque, and it has a little bit more volumes to it that way. So kind of having to kind of go back in and add those additions down, it just adds to the overall look, I think. Okay, so we'll do the same thing on this other side. This other side will be a little bit lower just to, you know, for variation. What you might do too is you can add this in and try to go for variation in terms of the amount of application that you have on here. So see, these thicker areas look like they're more lit, okay? Or just denser, okay? So see this little variation in here. And when everything's like the same, it flattens out, okay? So if you have it a little bit kind of, I don't know, I wouldn't call it blobby because we're not necessarily going for that. But uneven is not necessarily bad. In fact, in this type of process here, I think it looks better, okay? The one that we did yesterday is right here. I didn't do that really great. Yeah, I hadn't done it for a little bit of, a little while, so it's like kind of having to relearn it a little bit, but I don't know. I should like get it down a little bit. If you don't do it for a while, you kind of get back into the swing of it. It's like normally we're kind of we are stamping out two-dimensional things, using rubber stamps, we're stamping it on cardstock or something like this. But when we're doing this type of thing, it's kind of weird because you're kind of like building it out, and it's like, I don't know. What is it like? It's like frosting or something like that, So you're building out these volumes, the more you go on with it like this. And it feels more like, I don't know, like sculpture, or it's the sensibility of like sculpture or something like that. Like an additive sculpture, like clay or something like that you're kind of building out. All right, so something like that, all right? All right, now what I've done is I've used my full moon stamp. I'm going to use one of these in here, okay? I think this holographic one is kind of interesting because I hadn't done that before. And then what I did was I cut out a piece of, or just another circle here. I don't know, I just found a lid for something that was roughly, a little bit bigger than my moon, okay? So what I'm going to do, and I did it on this paper towel. For me, the idea of the paper towel as opposed to cutting it out of a piece of paper, like scrap paper, is that I felt that this paper towel, it's softer, so I felt it would give me a softer edge if I'm going to do this kind of corona type of idea here. So I'm going with this one. It might not last as long, but I thought it would give me a better look. And then as I'm applying some white pigment ink around here, okay, I don't care if this moves around a little bit. I don't want it fixed, again, so it can have a little bit of a softer edge, because I was trying to figure out, now I haven't done this before, so we'll have to see how it comes out, but that's the concept at least. All right. I'm going to put this a little bit lower on my horizon like this, because the lower that moon is, the more it's going to be reflected in this lower section. You see, the higher you go, the less of it you see. So a little bit lower like that, okay? And then again, it's going to have this little corona type of thing going out here. So if I have it up there, we're going to lose a little bit of it up there, okay? Now this one's going to be going down in these clouds, but I think that'll look okay. All right, let's see how it goes, though. Oh, you can see on this cardstock here, I don't know if you can see, this is a little bit blue on here, so that's cardstock. It's like lifting up some of that ink off of the, whatever, the pulp of the paper. Hello, Lou. Good to see you. Hello, Laura. All right, Laura. You're probably getting, all of our storms that are coming through California right now, or Southern Cal. But did you see the, that moon? The only place I've seen it is on Facebook. that eclipse. Someone added some pretty cool shots of it on in the Facebook group, Stampscapes group. All right, a little bit of halo around here, okay? Okay, now my white pigment ink pad is not super juicy, as you can see. It's just, I'm inking up right here and I'm going straight in here, okay? It's not leaving a super strong mark. Okay, now one of the things is too, that's occurring to me right here. I think I've done like some kind of corona before. I don't remember though, but it sounds like something I would have tried to do. And I thought I've done it before, but like with like moon beams, like crepuscular rays and things like that, whenever I'm adding in like beams, I try to make it a little bit varied in terms of my application, okay? So a little bit more, a little bit less, something like that. I think it adds to the whatever the richness of the application. You know what I mean? Rather than having it just like completely uniform around the edge. If your dominant sense is auditory, um, then you can think of your applications of media like a song or something like that. It's a little bit varied, okay? Or these are notes around the edge, and it's you know some are quarter notes, some are half notes, some are louder, softer. You can go with little different motions too. Okay, I'm going to try to put one of my little figures over here too. So she's going to be standing on like this ledge down here or something. And then, so I need it to go high enough up here. The whiteness, okay, to go a little bit higher. But I think that will do, I don't know, something like that. And this will be like this. Like I said, the glow in the dark is going to harmonize a little bit more. But like, I haven't done a holographic moon before. I don't think. Holographic object, maybe. So I want to do that. It's like, I'm doing this, this printable glow in the dark vinyl sticker paper for like a lot of things. It's like, that holographic printable vinyl, that's sticker paper too. So I don't know. I just never really thought about stamping out like imagery on that before, and then cutting it out and adding it in. All right, just trying to go for a little bit of I don't know, whatever different textures in here, motion. Okay, now in here, I'm going to have some trees in here in the foreground. So I want to get, let's see. I want to get a little bit of additional forms in here. Let's try this right here. I think this will look decent. Like this, maybe? I'm not adding anything. Yeah, you see what I mean? You just kind of start off really lightly. And you usually won't be kind of like surprised at, some kind of unintentional, undesirable mark like that. It's like a little pendulum. I'm kind of like going down and just barely touching and then kind of wisping. And then if I, as it builds up, I'll add, a firmer, thicker mark like this, okay? A lot of this is going to get covered up by imagery too, so this is just like a little bit of background. Oh, texture, lightness variation, okay. I feel like I'm taking it like an eraser to a chalkboard here. That's what it feels like. Not nails on a chalkboard. So let's see, let's bring some of this down here as well. Okay, now I'm kind of adding like my finger right here and trying to go for a little bit of a sharper little addition right there if I can. Yeah, that's pretty sloppy. But again, it's going to be covered up, so. All right, let me try it from this side too. There we go. So I just kind of keep at it and evening it out. I know where people are coming from a lot of times when they're telling me, hey, I was just trying something and it does not work for me. It's every time I look at it, you know, I told them to send me a photo of it, you know, so like 1% of the people do. And it looks like it did, you know, like a minute ago. But the thing is, you just keep working it a little bit, or you go, you know, into the next step, you know, in this case, it's going to be trees, and all that stuff's going to be covered up anyway. People get a little bit panicky about kind of the preliminaries a lot of times because it's just, you know, it's like, I don't know. For me, it's when I look at those pieces, it's always like, well, you got to like step C, where I just take it to, you know, N for an example, okay? See, like this, that looks kind of cool in there like that. All right. Something like this, or something like that. Okay. All right. I think that's enough of a background like that. And this ink, the Brilliance ink, dries reasonably fast. So it is fairly thick on here. So I'm going to dry it a little bit because I think I'll get a better transfer of my black ink onto a, you know, a little bit of a drier ink surface, okay? It's a bit of a like a chalky mess right now. You know, you might be able to do something like this with some pastels, you know, too. I don't know, maybe the pastels, like a white pastel, and this would be even faster. Or maybe more graceful. You know, I've seen people that do those pastel pieces, and those things look, you know, like pan pastels look really amazing. I haven't done it before. I think I'm going to keep this, you know, if this piece comes out okay, or, you know, not okay, and I'm going to try it again. Yeah, it was, you know, it was raining here last night, so I figured, yeah, you're getting all that, you know, stuff that's moving through here. We missed that light show. Okay, I'm gonna stamp out my ledge here. Okay. I don't expect it to, I don't know. I guess it'll, you know, stamp out on there okay. But it's not going to be like super light, okay? Because I'm stamping it over that, which is, I don't know, that's pretty light like that, but it's like in these areas like that. You want to go with a fairly thick ink. I wouldn't use like a dye-based ink over the top of this. I think it would print out, but I think it would stamp out because it's going to be absorbing into that thick application of white. I think it would stamp out, oh, I'm guessing like a 70% gray at darkest. Okay, so we're going with a thicker style of ink. And again, like your VersaFine clay or something like that would work pretty good, I think. On top of this, maybe even darker, I don't know. And I'm just stamping it right down in here because, again, this lower section is going to get covered up with the silver foil anyway. Okay, that looks pretty decent there. And then we'll tone and render it, you know, afterwards with shadow and volumes. Let's see, Arizona has snow. 40 is closer near Winslow and Flagstaff. Yeah, we had snow here. I checked this, a couple of the local webcams, and I forgot how high Laguna Mountain is here in San Diego, but I think it's up at, I don't know if it's even at 6,000 feet. I guess maybe it is though, but I was looking at that one. There was a lot of snow up there, and up higher, of course, there is. You know, we have I checked the Palm Springs tram that goes up to San Jacinto area, which is, I think that the top of the tram's at 7, so you know that area is covered in snow. I think they got at least a foot of snow in the past couple days, so it's up at about 2 feet now. But yeah, cold too, relatively speaking. San Diego cold, i.e., if anyone's in Maine, they call that like t-shirt weather, shorts weather, like San Diego cold. All right, so we have that right in there, like so. I think we're done with this. The Ledge is one of the best blending stamps I've ever drawn. It's one of the early ones that I've drawn too. Okay, let's see how that's looking right here. Okay, I'm kind of getting my bearings as to, you know, where this moon is going to be in relation to its reflection down below. So you can see these right here are reflecting down in there. But if I tone this from the base up a little bit, we'll be able to get a little bit of a stronger kind of separation between this vertical portion and this reflected area. All right. I was thinking, I didn't know if I'd use these trees in here, or if I'd use my kind of mossy covered trunks right here. I think on this one, let's go with a little bit of a bolder statement. These trunks are just thicker, so I think we'll go with that. Let me leave space in here for my little figure. Okay, I'm going to do them off to the side. Normally, I'd like to do them right over the moon, but because that moon is going to be a cutout sticker application, it's going to be raised. So if I have the moon up here and the figure standing right here, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be able to match it up. I'd stamp the figure out, and I'd be stamping it into this raised portion. So we'll have to do them like off to the side like this. Okay, I'm going for a bolder type of thing here too, because it's going against kind of this darker background. It's probably just going to read a little bit better than having something kind of thinner. All right, so let's go for some pretty thick application. I just kind of re-inked this, but I did all these impressions yesterday with that one inking. This is the glow-in-the-dark sticker paper here. I think I better be safe and get some ink on here. Where's my re-inker for my black? Graphite black. Was that lunar eclipse? Was that just one day? I thought they had it. I thought they said it was like happening a couple days, and you know, that's what, or nights. That's what kind of confused me. Or maybe they just meant that it was like whatever PM into the AM or something like that, depending on where people were located. All right, I just use this like. Oh, it's my old National Park annual pass. I'll have to get another one of those sometime. We were at a Joshua Tree National Park. It was last Friday, I guess. Can't believe how fast the weeks go. But yeah, that was awesome out there. It had rained out here last Thursday, and then this friend of mine went out to the into the park on Friday, and there was still snow on the ground. By the time we left the park, though, it was all gone. But it had snowed the night before, so we got a real treat seeing some snow out there. It's so, you know, you got to really catch it out there because it just kind of melts really fast. But it's a real treat to see it out there. I used to go out there all the time, like 25 years ago. Sometimes I was out there like all weekend. You know, it's like a 2.5 hour drive from where I was. So it's like 5 hour driving, you know, Saturday. I'd go home and then go back out there the next day if I wasn't traveling for work. You know, workshops and conventions. On my off weekends, I'd often head to Joshua Tree and get out there on those rocks. Work hard, play hard. But in all those times back then, I never saw any snow out there. It was always my, you know, dream to see that. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, Cynthia. Laura. Oh, Laura's here. No, it started on Thursday evening and finished on Friday morning. Okay, well, that was it then. The channel was live. Yeah. See what a great impression that is right there? With a nicely inked up pad. Happiness is a nicely inked up stamp pad. All right. Unless it's over inked. I always say, hey, don't over ink your dye-based pads, especially. Okay, I think there's something on my. It's like not stamp, or I don't know. Let's switch to the bigger trunk on the side. Missing all these nighttime light shows, Laura. I didn't catch those northern lights that everyone was seeing in so many different areas. When was that? Gosh, was that in June? Last June or something like that? I thought at the time, I thought I saw some photos or something or reports, but I thought, my God, like an Arizona sky or desert terrain with like northern lights. It's like I don't know, whatever. The best of whatever, both worlds, and you know, because you get such great types of sunsets anyway, twilights out there. I thought Northern Lights, man, you know, that's insane. And plus, you know, and the deserts, a lot of times, it depends on where, but, you know, you can see so much more of, like, the horizon. Oops. I overlapped a little bit high up there. That thing like that, you just fill in with some colored pencil work. And this is what I also meant about not really worrying about, here, we don't need this, that background kind of texturing in there, because we're going to be covering it up, a lot of it anyway, in this case. Hello, Sheila. Hey, Sheila, did you get any of that or anyone in your area, did you guys see those northern lights, you know, this last summer, I think it was, up around your area? All right, we're going like that. That's our kind of background foundation, being that we're putting it on to that dark cardstock. You know, we're not going to be doing like a lot of coloring, but we can do some shading on those forms. Let me get some stuff out of the way. All right, so this is what we're looking at right here. Got those nice kind of reflections of those trees in there. I'm looking at it right here too. I think my little figure is going to fit right in here. I'm gonna have a little canopy of you know, greenery from up top there. They would probably be like pine boughs, but I have some pine boughs, but I think just some other types of foliage will look a little bit better up there, so I'm going to use that. Let's just do that right now while we're at it. If you guys just joined in, oops. This is just one piece of 8.5 by 11 dark blue cardstock. So for my reflection card formatting, I'm not doing this area up here just on one separate card and then glued into something else. I thought, well, I might as well just use this as my card base right here, you know, because it's a darker one, which I usually like using anyway. I've done other types of card bases for reflection cards and horizon cards. And they look good, but I don't know. Like when I'm doing like white, I don't know. It was a little bit stark. If I did some kind of white intro thing, I think I would mount some kind of other white within the space of the card, you know, and just tape it or whatever, glue it on the surface on the front of the card. I mean, I might have to do that anyways. I just noticed I'm getting some white on the back here, so it might look a little bit sloppy. Unless that's a desired thing. Sometimes it is, you know. Like in my art classes, we always wanted to, you know, it's like one of those things like, don't use any eraser, you know, because that was for like drawing classes, not for like these, you know, finished illustrations or something like that. But, you know, they wanted all that hand done kind of gestural types of things on the surface and not like whatever immaculate. All right, get that, and we'll come into it from the other side. Go over here. Oh, it was cloudy. We're getting foiled by the clouds. Cool northern lights. We missed Laura and I missed the lunar eclipse. I like the color that that moon had from the photos that I've seen. But I don't know, from the photos I saw, it looked like a really good one. All right, so there we have it. Kind of contained up on the outside like that. We still have some of that texturing going in the background. We'll do some rendering and we'll create some volumes on our trees and rocks down here. Let's let this dry a little bit though, or a lot. And then I'm going to use this down below. Let's get to the lower section a little bit, because what I'll have, okay, so if you just joined in too, I was mentioning earlier that I've stamped out my ledge stamp. It's the same one that's up here, okay, on a separate piece of paper. I'm just going to cut this out, and we're going to put it in the bottom left and right corners of this cardstock, okay? I used to do this thing where I lay down some white pigment ink down there, and I stamp, well, just like I did up here, and I stamp into it with some additional black Brilliance ink, and then I just kind of wipe off the part of the ink that, you know, went above the ledge right here. But I just found, you know, I just thought it's just so much easier just to stamp it out on a separate piece of paper. And if it's an easy cut like this, you know, just to do it that way and paste it down like that. And then by doing it this way, I don't have to spray seal this, where you do if you use the Brilliance ink on this paper. It'll transfer and dry on this type of surface, but you have to seal it down, okay? It's not going to stick on this type of surface right here. So with this, we don't have to worry about it. Okay, and what I'm going to do though, okay, I want some of these, this little brushy type of leaf thing to be behind these rocks, so we have to stamp it first, okay? If we lay those rocks down there and mask them off and stamp this down, it's going to be, you know, there's going to be a big gap in between the leaves and that ledge because this ledge is going to be raised, all right? When it's clear here, it's beautiful, but living on the coast, yeah. You know what, when I was driving along that whole Oregon coast, from Newport, you know, up north there, just that one time, it really reminded me of the area that I grew up in California, which is Central California, but it's the weather's like different there because it's like sticks out on this little tip. It's Point Conception. It's, you know, it's, we call it the Central Coast, but it's, you know, it's in between like the Bay Area and LA. Well, Los Angeles is closer to it, but yeah, windy, you know, breezy, often foggy, a lot of cloud cover. But yeah, it really reminded me of kind of a little bit more of like where I grew up. All right, let's see how far this is going to stick up here. So I need to go about right up here, so a little bit under halfway, and we'll put some, we'll brush right in here. We'll go with the Stays On ink, okay, because that's going to stamp, dry, and adhere to the surface, okay? I'm going to put some of those, I stamped out some of my little lantern things, and we're going to put those in there too. I have to concentrate a little bit there. I don't have any problems. With some stamps, you know, you stamp it out on the foil, and it's like, it's skewed a little bit. I say this every time, but if you haven't heard me mention it, this one's like, the more solid the image is, the more of ink that is in one area, it tends, you know what I mean? It can, when you make your impression, because this is such a slick surface, it can kind of move around a little bit on you, so when you get it, make contact, just, you know, press down. I mean, it's not super precarious, but I got to get the feel of it a little bit if I haven't done it for a while. With certain stamps. With this one right here, I don't have it, you know, seem to run into that. All right, so see this brush right here, and again, it's going to go right in back of this right here. So I go high, and then I go a little bit lower, and then usually, yeah, I'm kind of lower and into the scene. Typically, that's with my reeds, a little bit more dense, less, and then, you know, less like that, or isolated, okay? And that's going to get covered up too, remember, you know, with a lot of the ledge there. So let's see here. Stays on dries pretty fast, but it is on, you know, completely non-porous foil, so it might dry a little bit slower than what you're used to if you're stamping it onto like a piece of cardstock or something like that. But a lot of people get Stays On because they're stamping it on, trying to stamp on you know, less than porous surface, so so that it sticks on there, so you might be already kind of used to it. All right, let me get that. Let's take a look. I always kind of take a look every time I kind of add a new element into a scene. I mean, it looks just fine like that. You don't have to add in that ledge or something like that, but see that ledge over there? If I do add that in here, it creates a little bit more of a connection between different areas of the card, so front and back, you know, like that. And these from a textural form will kind of relate to this up here. Okay, kind of, you can see the four corners like that are kind of, whatever, they kind of form a little bit of like a perimeter vignette or framing, you know, textural framing around the entire piece. Okay, let's do this right here, but let's do this. Let's take and tone this in a little bit just ahead of time, because I think it's going to be easier just to do it before I glue it onto the card. Maybe. Let's see. Just a little black ink. I mean, you don't have to use this either. You can use some colored pencils or something like that. See that really very faint shade of like gray right there? I'm just going like this, okay, with a really light tone. Like this. I'll do some kind of more fine-tuned shading, you know, with the colored pencil and maybe the, I don't know, alcohol pens or something like that. See this right here? I'm kind of leaving the tops of it a little bit lighter. Let's do this. Yeah, let's add a little bit more tone. I guess I don't need to worry about this side thing because it's getting cut out. I was trying to be careful not to go up into this area right here. But this is I gotta remember this is a cutout here. Darker edges around the scene. See this? It's a little bit darker, a little bit lighter, a little bit darker like that. Right here, it's going from dark to light. So we're talking about transitions here, okay? And variation, so. Do the same thing right here. If you haven't seen them before, you put these rocks around a whole area, around the entire perimeter. It looks like a little cave or something that you're in. Oh, you got some snow in the hills around you, huh? Okay. What's the elevation, would you say, of those hills around you, Sheila? Does it go like, are we talking about like hundreds of feet, or not a couple thousand, not like 1,000, right? By the way, if everyone, you don't know, but Sheila lives in the Alps. Just get Pacific Northwest. Okay, so we have those right there. There, let's do this while we're at it here. While I'm doing these live streams, sometimes when I'm doing this heat setting, I think to myself, all right, don't burn your hands holding it like that. I was going to do some alcohol on here. Let's do some. Let's do both. Let's do a little bit of a. Since this is kind of the bluish tone up here, okay, and we got reflections of blue. I'm going to put a little bit of blue here into the mix. I don't want like a turquoise blue on here or anything like that, but Just a little tinge of it, I think. I'll put it just in the shadows so it's a little bit of a richer shadow tone than just straight blue. I mean, yeah, black, grayscale. Okay, let's do that. And I mean, something like these blues, like right here. I don't know, they won't match that, but something like that a little bit, maybe. Let's bring a little of that into it. I mean, it's the base color of that entire card. Cardstock. So what that's basically saying is that's like that's the color of light that's, you know, going to be on the terrain. So adding that into the shadow areas of, you know, whatever illuminated objects, you know, could potentially just kind of link it to the rest of the scene a little bit more visually, or whatever. Yeah, a little bit more whatever color harmony. This is a little bit of lighter blue. My darker blue application there was a little bit clunky. So I go back in with a lighter one like this, and I just kind of smooth it out a little bit. Like that. So, yeah, not too bad. All right, let's do some cutting here. Hello, Leslie. How are you? Oh, yeah, Cindy. Yeah, Cindy Wade. I did. I taught at her store. Well, probably. I taught at different locations in her store over the course of a few years. Yeah. It was pretty interesting. The last time I taught at Impressing Ideas, she had converted a, or I think, I don't know, one of the last 10s. I don't know if it was the one immediately before she moved in there. It was like an auto garage or something like that. So it had these kind of cool walls. I don't know if it was like this, like brick or something like that. And that was cool. I just went, okay, 1,100 feet. Okay, got it. Where's the edge here? Oh, here it is down here. Right, yeah. So I do easy cuts, you know. If this is like a super kind of intricate one, I'm not gonna want to do it. But I can handle this. I got a lot of rubber and things like that, so I'm going in and out of things. But when I'm stamping, typically, you know, I don't want to be doing too much of that type of thing. So easy cut like that, right? And where these are going to go here, around the corners like that, all right? I'm looking at it right now and seeing if I need to do a little bit more. I think that looks okay. Let's go ahead and apply those right now. And then I'll move on to that top portion again. Sheila, do you go to do Impressing Ideas sometime, or how do you know? You've been stamping a while, but have you known Cindy for a while? Cindy had a store. Boy, that was like, she was pretty early on, you know. Mid 90s with her store, I think, that original location. Here we go. My glue. I'm gonna remember where that pin is. It's like after using gluing, like I lose that pin in these live streams, like after whatever It's like I just had it like 1 second ago. Where'd it go? All right, here we go, like this. If I was doing this off camera, I would probably use my spray adhesive on this, okay? It's a little bit of a flatter application of adhesive. And it's a little bit more aggressive too, so when I lay it down, it really sticks here. Here, of course, I'm laying it down. It's kind of moving around a little bit on me. I'll let that set up and I'll just kind of burnish it a little bit more, just hand burnish it. Hello, Patty. Glad you made it, Leslie. A lot of this card will start coming together, hopefully, pretty quickly here. I'm kind of on the, whatever, component addition steps right here. I don't know, getting a little bit closer to it. I'm going to put some of these floating little, glowing lanterns down here. Okay, so see that right there? And that will look like this. We're going to render it a little bit more, okay? So hopefully that looks reasonably three-dimensional. That's supposed to be this little corona thing in the background. It's looking really weird right now. But this will go in here like so. Like something like that. Okay, that corona is bothering me now. We need to come in. We need to come in with a little bit more. It's too sharp of an edge like that. That's what I kind of wanted to avoid, but I wasn't quite sure how much kind of texture I wanted in here. Maybe this would be better if I added in some. Let's do this right here. I forgot about this. I'm looking at my pencils right here. I have this Stabilo Carbothello white pastel pen. And I can come in here, I think, and add in, I think, some softer kind of applications or fine tuning. I'm talking really soft because I'm not sure. I'm kind of more question. I can do that right now. It's a little bit too harsh here. Let me go back with the white ink here. All right, here we go. Okay, let's see here. Let's come in here a little bit. Not everywhere. Okay, so this line's kind of bothering me right here. We don't need to diffuse the whole thing, but you diffuse some of it so you can get a little bit of variation in here. So see this, I'm kind of pulling this side in like this. Okay, I put a little bit right here, okay. I didn't even check to see if these leaves are kind of dry yet. Okay, I think that'll be a little bit better like that. Okay, so let's heat set this and let's get this kind of established a little bit more. I think this is kind of drying pretty good here. You have to multitask here. Kind of know what's, in the live stream here, Otherwise, I'd just do one step, and it would have been, like I said, it would have been spray adhesive on there instead. Okay, let's heat set this one. I feel like I'm cooking, you know, with like several different dishes, you know, going on at the same time. All right. Now, let's start modeling some of the rocks up top, just like we've done down here, going from dark to light like that. I'm just going to use my colored pencils. These rocks aren't kind of sticking out too far, and they're not white. They're, I don't know, what would you say? That's like a 50% gray or something like that. So we'll just kind of give them a little bit of a, kind of a value changes, you know, so that they look a little bit more rounded. So especially on this crease area right here where it's folded like that, I'll darken in that creased area a little bit, that transition area between whatever, the land elements and the reflection. So you know how I like to go a little bit darker in my corners like that, like down here. So this is kind of like the four corners right here, but you can almost see like this top section as like a separate thing. So I like to go darker up here and darker right down here too. Okay. And I think that frames off the piece again a little bit better. In this case, it kind of anchors the composition a little bit too. And let me try here too. Let me try something here. Let me see if I can add in, maybe there's some little water grass or something like that. Just trying to think if I should go with the brilliance ink or if I should go with the stays on. Let's go with the brilliance again. I just laid down some colored pencils, so I'm not sure how well the brilliance is going to stamp over the colored pencil. I guess it's doing okay. I guess it's thick enough to where it can handle it. So like that. Like that, and it kind of frames off that top portion, I guess. A little bit. I added more black here, so I can see it's not transferring quite as well. But doing okay like that. Now it's a little bit darker than what it's going to look like when it dries. When it dries, it's going to be like that dark, okay? So it really stands out right now. Let's heat set a little bit. Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, when she moved to the coast, I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, where's my black? Black pigment ink on the cotton ball. Let's really frame this off up here and give it a pretty strong vignette around the perimeter. Here's a question. So has anyone? Okay. So did you know of her stores before then? Before she was on the coast? Okay. So here's a question for people. Has anyone ever been in like a stamp club before? Like an in-person stamp club? I'm just curious. So we're talking about like stores here. A lot of clubs used to be kind of more store based. A lot of times it wasn't I think the when I used to travel, I don't think the clubs used to be necessarily run by the store owners. You know, I think it used to be like customer run if it was held at a store. But a lot of the clubs are just, you know, a bunch of individuals meeting outside of a store situation. Not all of them, you know, some of them, you know, like I said, they met in the stores. Like I used to go to a couple clubs in Huntington Beach, and one we met, I don't know, we met all over the place. We were always trying to find like I don't know, it seems like we were looking for a new location. So it was in like clubhouses and things like that, or I don't know, one time it was like in the bank, you know, I don't know, someone's bank. Okay, I'm adding in some tone on the side of the trees that are going to be on the opposite side of the tree from the light source, I think. Gives them a little bit more volume. They already do have a lot of texture and shading on them, but we're just adding a little bit of extra here. So I'm just masking it off like so and getting some of that down. It's already kind of dark, so this isn't like standing out quite so much as it would if we, you know, stamping it on a lighter piece of paper, but still it just kind of gives everything a little bit more mass. It's not like super blended in. I just did it real fast, kind of haphazard even. So it's a little bit blobby right there, but then you have your colored pencil and you could go in there and just kind of even that out a little bit like this. And then I didn't add that ink with the cotton ball on these real narrow ones, so that's where this can come into play. And if you get kind of I got a kind of like a blotchy application where it didn't, you know, part of the tree didn't stamp out like here or there. Well, that's what you have. You can go in here and do it with like you know, black colored pencil, or, you know, or you could get it with the ink. So if you ever kind of run into those things like that, like impression, now if half the tree didn't stamp out, you know, that's a problem. But you know, if you get these big holes or something like that, if you're using some types of papers that are a little bit more textured, and it's like, you know, and you're not using like a Misty where you can just kind of, you know, go for that second impression. You know, just fill it in with a different medium, you know, that you're going to be using anyway. So I just don't worry about that type of thing. Because I just know I'll be able to go in there and add these additional things in there anyway. See this right here? See this tree right here? It's like illuminated on this right side and darker on the left, even on this fairly dark piece of paper like this. So you can take care of a lot of things like that. And then plus it makes it look a little bit better anyway, you know, in this case, more whatever image volume, I guess. I asked that because there was so many great stores up in, you know, the Portland area, or just every city it seemed in Oregon, like big or small, there was like some store. I don't know, within, I don't know, you know, a higher concentration in the more populated areas, but even in like, you know, smaller areas, even like on like Eastern Oregon, there are you know, stores out that way. I'm sure there were a lot more than I was aware of. I'm just, you know, like thinking of the ones that just carried you know, that carried Stampscapes. But huge whatever industry infrastructure of stamping stores out that way. Stamping stores and manufacturers too. Okay, a little bit of this lighter blue. It doesn't make the darker areas lighter, but again, just kind of adding into the little bit of a, kind of tonal variation in these areas right here. I'm kind of dragging around some wet ink, I think, on here. Okay, let's take a look again. We've done a lot of toning in there and darkening areas. Get our bearing. You're going to have some reflections of light from a mirrored cardstock shining up here. So sometimes you got to see in, it's like if you want certain areas dark, with this extra light coming from here and then from down here, it's like you need to kind of assess if it's, kind of the way you want it. See these areas right in here? This is kind of nice having a little bit of light in this section down here. Okay. Like I said, you don't have to do it. It's just one extra little step like that. But, these things like this, they're pretty easy to do. And it can add that little bit of extra dimension if you have the time to do it. All right. I'm thinking about my main figure now. I think I've done this one right here, this lady with her kind of hands like raising up to the sky like that, like a lot of you were doing yesterday with that full moon eclipse, or full eclipse of the moon. Let me see it here. Let me get my bearings right here. I'm not quite sure, if I want to do this one or not, but so what you do is kind of make it a little bit more visual. And I just did a real fast thing like that. I just overstamped her hand there, smashed it. It's like the moon's going to go like in here. That's the glow-in-the-dark one. And this is the holographic like that. That holographic is kind of interesting. This is her right here. There's also this one right here. These ones like this. All of these right here, they're real kind of pictorialist looking figures. She looks a little bit too chill there for this setting right here. I think it might be this one. She's a little bit smaller. But maybe that would be better. Let me see here. Sorry for the delay here, but this is like super important. Yeah. I think that looks really cool. Maybe I can move her. I can't have her, see, if I move her over here, it's like in the corona. I might have her a little bit more in that lighter area right there. I think that would fit like that. Maybe this is one of those cards you can give to someone and you give them like, you put a little bit of Velcro back there and then you have your moons with a different Velcro so that, they could put this down there for, a week and enjoy it like that. And then they could put the other glow-in-the-dark one in there. Right in the back right here, you would say moon goes here. Okay, let me get this again. Okay, don't put too much pressure up around her hands, especially with like the real thick ink, otherwise it looks like she has, you know. Otherwise it looks like she got like a, you know, like some boxing gloves on, which I've made the mistake of doing a couple times there. Not, I think on my, I don't know, whatever, test prints or something like that. I don't know if I've done it on a scene yet. All right, look at that right there. It's my special effect type of card here. Let me see. Do I want anything else in there right now? Let me hold on. You know, I might add a couple little textures in the background like that. Let's hold on with that for a second here, because I also want to do some other things in here. I want to bring in some of that white cloudy mist in front of, like at the base of a couple of these trees in here too. So is this dry enough? Let's see. Yeah, Cindy's awesome. Okay, there we go, like that. Let's get some of the little fine-tuning types of things in here. And then we'll get to the lower section here, which hopefully adds a lot of drama into the scene. So if you were thinking about checking out, you know, I would definitely wait for that to happen. Okay, so there we go. I'm just joking, folks. You know, I was like when you check out these videos, just scroll to the end, you know what I mean? Check it out and see how it came out. It's like one of those things, okay, wait, how did he do this thing? Then you can kind of go back and see that portion of it. All right, white pigment ink. Let's do, I'm trying to think if I want to mask off a little bit. Do I want this little mist to be coming like in here and over the rock, or is this going to be in back of the rock? I'm kind of wondering here. Okay. Maybe both, I don't know. You know, I'll do it one way with one tree and a different way with another one, you know? So, all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. Okay, so this mist is going to be in back of this rock right here, but at the base of this tree trunk right here, okay? And again, you just kind of lightly dab, okay? Right here, like so. And then you have that, see that right there? That little kind of illumination right there. And then let's do this right here. Let's have some of this like cloud kind of coming through here like that. So let's mask off this like this, okay? And then I'm just lightly dabbing. See, it's just like barely anything right there. Again, remember, think about it like you're, I mean, this is a wet, you know, it's a wet ink. But think about it more in the spirit of as if you're trying to apply like powder or something down that area. And if that doesn't work for you, just imagine it like you're applying it onto like a child's face, like they're about I don't know, maybe 2 years old, enough to where they say, ow, you know, if you're pressing too hard. Yeah, see like that. I don't like now I see this one. I think I want to put it on here too. I think it's like too strong of a thing right here. I think I want a little bit more attention on her, so I'm going to. So see how these are really, they're both like solid and fairly strong. So I'm just kind of pushing this back a little bit and softening this texturally, like this. And then she doesn't, I don't know, doesn't she stand out a little bit more? Let's do it on this tree right here too. Okay. That looks like so much better in there now, I think. Sometimes I think, okay, so I talk about variation, but if it's like looking good, to your eye, with every application, then maybe it's like, okay, let's do that on one more, and you just do it I don't know, just do it one by one, and then kind of assess, like hold it out a little bit and see how it's looking like that. Okay. I'm looking at this one right here too, and I think we've got to do it on that one. I just like this, I don't know, I guess I like the separation between that ledge and these trees back in here. These are really gigantic trees, so if we're talking about like realism or something like that, I don't know if that happened. But you do see a lot of trees just growing right out of like the tiniest cracks in like granite or something like that. These rocks of the Sierras. I figured it's because like these seeds, they can get a firmer kind of anchor in between things, these rocks and things like that, where it doesn't get washed away in its sapling kind of period of time. There, it's just a little bit, better anchored. All right, let me take a look and see what that looks like. Here. See this little lighter area right in here? Okay. I'm going to take advantage of that and put a little bit of like extra lighting on this tree, maybe. Like right back in here. See a little bit of light on there? You can do that if it's like light. I don't think I'm going to put it here because it's not light in the background, so it kind of stand out a little bit more. You can mask those sometimes. Let me just do this just to make a point right here. You can mask the tree like that, okay? And you can put a little bit of tone like this. I mean, sometimes you have to kind of even it out. It's like, oh, I made it too white. Then just go back in there with a colored pencil and kind of tone it in a little bit. Let's see if I did that right there. Now see that line is kind of awkward. So that you just go back in with your colored pencil and darken in that. But see this little area right here is a little bit lighter, okay? Let's see, I can come in like that. So if you want a little bit more light hitting the side of the tree, without going into something like a acrylic paint pen, you can do that. Let me see. Well, I have my white. I'm doing some of this. I think I came a little bit heavy-handed with some of this white in here, so let's just take our black and just go right back into it. If you go overboard and use too much black, then just go again with the white again. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, you missed it. Oh, no notifications on there, Linda. What we'll do is we just won't have This will be like the live stream that never ends. I just won't stop the live stream. It'll just go for like 24 hours a day, 24/7. And then just whenever I'm on, you will have been sitting there waiting. I wonder how long a live stream can be on YouTube. I mean, it can't be indefinite, right? It's got to be a limit on there somewhere. Okay, she's a little bit wet. I want to put a little bit of, like, lighting on her down there too. But I think I'm going to apply the... Okay, now this, this holographic looks horrific. We do have the glow in the dark, and it can be, it's a sticker, so you can just put the sticker right above, or you get tired of the the holographic one, and you want to go whatever glow in the dark, then you just put it over there. You just sticker it right over the top of it. Okay, I need to get this kind of, reasonably centered here. It's like all kids like stickers, so it's like the kid in me. You go to the store and they give you, give your kids stickers. All right, get that right there. And let's see how it looks. Okay, down like that. It's kind of interesting. Boy, that changes the lighting of that whole area. I think I can put some highlights on the sides of these trees that are fairly light, with my white acrylic paint pen. And I don't know, it seems like it would be okay because that really looks like super illuminated like that. Okay, I'm going to put some of those lanterns down here too. I have those glow-in-the-dark ones right down here. And let's see how those look. Maybe I won't go too crazy with it. And I have the my pre-trimmed ones now, or some of them. Different colored ones too. I was looking at those warm colored ones. I want to do glow in the dark. These are my glow in the darks right here. Okay, I thought I was going to use a lot of these big ones here, but maybe I won't. Some of these like little ones keep falling out of this little pouch here. These ones right here keep falling out. It's driving me nuts. I might need to... I'm probably going to have to put like a little piece of tape, a little piece of painter's tape right here and here, because these really tiny ones, like they're really small like that, or like that, are they're falling out every time I move this around. Okay, here, let me bump this down like this. Okay, let's see. I did this because I had these all, on sheets like this. But then when I started like using more and more of them, like this sheet got, these sheets got divided up. So I was like, there was like some glow in the dark over here, and over here, and I was like looking under piles and everything like that for it. Okay, let me see. Let me get my bearings here. I feel like I'm putting together like a puzzle here. Does anyone do puzzles? Yeah. So I think I've taught it. I think I taught it Impressing ideas. I thought it was like 3 times. It's definitely 2. But yeah, Cindy would know. Cindy would know all about like the tonal applicator. That was the stamp that I used to use. Okay, what I'm looking right here for is I just don't want to get. Now those aren't here. Those are stickers. I'll be putting them in here. Let me see it. I just don't want to get. I need to get my bearings here in terms of like where she's going to be. Okay, so I just don't want to have like a lantern right over here because she needs to be in the reflection. And this moon, I can have like a lantern like here, there, like breaking it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be like a pure, location. So I'm seeing it about right here, I think. And it's down here, like that. Okay. So it seems like I have a lot of leeway here in terms of my placement of these. Okay. So let's go like this. And I'll show you how I get my, how I get these laid out here. Okay, so just in general, the smaller the lantern, the higher up on the composition I go with it. Okay. If we want to, you could have like different size lanterns too. And that would be fine. So I'm not sure if I want to go like this big on here, although that one looks pretty good. If you go like this big, what you're saying is that this area right here is probably like, I don't know, maybe like 3 feet from you or something like that. Whereas if you have like these ones right here, you're saying that this side of this ledge and then that water, it's farther away, okay? From like maybe, I don't know, whatever, a few yards, 10 yards or something like that, maybe, or something like that. But maybe this one would look pretty good. So if you have this in here, I kind of push everything up that's smaller a little bit higher up there. Okay. I don't know, whatever. That's the concept at least. You can do, like I said, you can mix and match. You can say, hey, there's a bigger lantern in the background or something like that too. That'd be fine. But I usually, kind of try to push perspective in there a little bit more by using kind of size relations like that. And I think I'll go kind of monochromatic with these lanterns here too. All right, so this one's right here. Go like that. Hello, Josh. And let me see. Tony, good to see you again. All right. Yeah, I'll leave that right for right now. Let me see. Okay. So we have this right here. This is really close right here, so I'm not going to do too many of these reflections down here. I'll just stamp it out like that. Let's start, we'll go big and work small, I guess. And you might be thinking, well, what are you doing with that? You're just going to be putting these stickers down here. I like to go with this little reflection down here, and then I like to add on a little bit of a surrounding texture. And we've got to do that before we apply these stickers down here. Otherwise we'd have to mask them off and try to stamp stuff around it. And then, these things are going to be raised, so it's like an awkward kind of application. So, so we just do these kind of whatever registration, I guess, impressions first, so you know where to put those stickers. Okay, let's see here. It doesn't need to be a real clean impression either, okay? Because again, the sticker's, going to go right over the top of it. Okay, so that is here. And yeah, is that moon kind of fun, Linda? So I think it looks pretty cool, but if it didn't look, if it looked really bad, well, I don't know if I would use it if it looked really bad, but the idea was, hey, I was prepared to say, which I do believe in. It's like sometimes you got to just, if you're kind of going with like a new kind of element, sometimes you just got to go with it, even though you might have something that at the moment kind of looks better. Because sometimes, like, some of these things that we do, it kind of, you know, it's kind of shocking, you know, or something. It's just something that we haven't seen before. And sometimes it's like some things grow on me a little bit more the more I see it too. So, you know, that was my thought, you know, going into it. It's like, okay, if I don't like the holographic moon, then, you know, am I going to use it? And you know, unless it looked really bad, you know, then I probably wouldn't use it. But you know, if I wasn't sure about it, you know, I was going to just go for it because I knew that the glow in the dark moon would be pretty cool, you know. But we've done that a few times at this point in time. All right. These lanterns have been a little bit of a pleasant surprise in terms of just maybe that, whatever, the usability and whatever effectiveness, I guess. It's like when I started using them, it's like I really like using these ones. Even on the non-glow in the dark, it looks like they're really glowing to me. So it's like 4, 3, and then 1. 4, 3, 1, 8 groupings. All right, let me see. Let me make sure I didn't put one like in a really bad position. It looks okay, I guess. Like, you know, I don't have anything going like in front of the figure. Yeah. All right. This is that texture that I like using. I like using it on like practically everything, but I think it really looks good to add around these lanterns. These lanterns, you know, they're floating on the water, literally, but this just kind of, this little texturing in here, I find that it just kind of anchors the imagery in here too a little bit more into the surface of the piece. And I like that look. I mean, I liked it without, but then when I added this in, I thought, I'll probably be doing this on like every time I do this from now on. But it just adds that little bit of extra texture too. You can just stamp it right over your lanterns too, because you're going to be covering them up too. Okay, now what I like to do too, as I always mention on these live streams, is at the base of my shoreline, I like to add far shoreline, near shoreline too a lot of times, but I like to add in this texturing as a transition from this top area into my water area down here. And then I also like how these little textures in here reflect against the, or how the things up top reflect against it, I guess. Because it makes you aware of the surface a little bit more, like that. So you can see these textures a little bit more like that. I was going to say they're like invisible. Here, we need to add a little bit more. Oops, no wonder. It's one of my stickers. Okay. So it's right down here. Okay, that holographic moon is wild like that. All right. Okay, I need to remember to do some highlighting up there in that upper section too. But I think we have this lower section almost taken care of here. Will the black ink smear on the surface? Are you talking about down here, Tony? The stays on? No, this is like, it's a little bit moist still, but it's pretty dry. And it's like using, it's like if we used like a Sharpie pen on this right here, you know, it's not going to smear. It's a solvent ink, so when it dries, it'll be just, you know, it'll be really affixed to that surface, those types of permanent inks like that. Now, don't go in with there with a like a VersaFine Clear or something like that, or a dye-based ink, or a oil-based pigment ink, or something like that. You know, it's not going to dry in there. Basically, you know, you want to use a solvent ink. There might be other brands of solvent inks. Did we ask that before? How many different types of solvent inks are out there? I keep referring to StazOn, but I don't know. I can't remember if there's other brands of solvent inks out there or not. I've got a lot of work ahead of me with coloring and pre-trimming all of these additional lanterns that I've stamped out here. I don't know, it's probably going to take me an hour and a half or something. But it sure makes it convenient, you know, just to dip into my pre-trimmed whatever lighting elements here. You know, just do them all at once. You know, so I just flip on one of my own videos to watch and just start cutting. I'm just joking. I don't watch my own videos. I do watch my the short ones though, like the ones to music or something like that. I love watching that. Those kind of time-lapse ones, or just those little videos that I do now. And I just, because I can add any music to it on Instagram, seemingly any type of music. So if I'm doing something like this, I can look up, like, I don't know, whatever, like Corona Moon or something like that, or I think I looked up like lanterns to see if there were any like night lantern, like songs called night lanterns, you know, on Instagram. And God, there's so much music out there. A lot of times you can find something like totally within the theme of the scenes that you're doing. So I watch those ones, you know, sometimes. I can't get one of these out of here. There we go. And then what do I have? Two more of these. One and two here. By the way, if you ever do something like this, where you're stamping out like a bunch of these all at once, you know, to pre-cut out, what I did was I just put all the lanterns together, maybe not on this block, but yeah, like for example, you just go like this, or I mean, you can put them on everything, you know, you just go like this, and then ink them up and then stamp them like one stamp, then you just go ink, stamp, 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 stamp. I mean, I don't know how many you want to go with, you don't want to go with like a gigantic one with, 10 images on there, I don't think, because, we might not get as like an impression, like that. But you can really kind of expedite the process, though. Expedite the process by doing multiples. Did I say kids like stickers? I'm referring to me. I think when I was a kid, when I'd get stickers, though, I think sometimes I didn't use them because I didn't want to not be able to use them anymore or something like that. Okay, let's see here. Let's see how this is looking. Ooh, that sure added a kind of a dimensional aspect to it, didn't it? Let's do this here too. These lanterns are this greenish glow right here. I'm going to add in just a little bit of hint of that color into at least these near rocks here. I'll just add a little hint of it right in here, okay? I'll start in the shadows a little bit. Just to get that same tone, at least in a couple of different areas of the card. Sometimes you just kind of tone or slightly tint your shadows to get a little bit of that color somewhere else, just so that it's not so isolated like that. I don't know if you can tell, like right in here, there's a little bit of it. And then I'll add it maybe a little bit up here. It's against this dark background, so you won't be able to see too much of it, but yeah, it's a little bit up there like that. Okay, and do you see these this brush here on the other side? A little bit. Tonally, there's a little bit more of an in-depth card, so I am going like all out with some of these little things like this, but I'm finding that these rocks right here, I mean, I think it looks okay as is, but if I just darken it a little bit extra, and I'll do it with the pigment ink, I think it'll, whatever, texturally match, I guess, the card a little bit more. That silver, I mean, we think about it like silver as being like that, really super reflective, but when you look at it, most of the times it's dark, okay? Like that, because it's reflecting things around it. So I'm going to make this, see how dark that is right over there, and see how kind of lighter it is over here. We'll go like here in the corner, and then, like I said, just kind of oscillating that a little bit. I'll go with a little bit dark, lighter, darker. I mean, that's dark in there too, but not quite that dark. Like that. So we're just kind of like, I'm trying to match things a little bit more, or get it closer to. Okay, now see this right here? That closes it off a little bit more. It's going to dry a little bit darker too. But let's see here. All right, let's bring in some additional light into the piece in the form of some highlights. I'll try not to overdo it here. And then if I overdo it, I can go back and I darken some of these, but it'd just be my preference not to do anything that I don't have to do. Do you ever worry about copyrights on music? No, because the copyrights, it's all in the Instagram thing. You choose it in the Instagram app, okay? So whatever money, Instagram's making, I don't get anything from it, but like Instagram, it's all licensed music. I don't know how much the artists get, they probably don't get too much, but that's all licensed stuff. Like I can do that on Instagram because it's in there. It's in the actual app. You add the music from it, and then that's a service that pays them. But I can't just use any music and throw it on like a YouTube video, okay? I think you can, but I think the algorithm, it knows what the artist is. So if I'm monetizing a video, that a certain portion of it or all of it would go to that artist like that. So for YouTube, you use the copyright free or the licensed YouTube music. That's why you see on a lot of different YouTube videos. If you watch a lot of them, you'll start here. I'm talking about on different channels and things like that. You'll see, or I hear a lot of the same music on different channels. It's like, oh, so I'm watching these things, like a pet rescue or something like that, and here's that song that I used for, some, whatever, reflection card video before, or something like that. So I really recognize a lot of those songs on there. Okay, so a little bit of highlighting on the sides of the trees, trunks here, that are facing the light like that. Okay. And just in general, I mean, it's on the side of the trees facing that, but like in here on the interior, the body of this, the lighter areas of that tree trunk like that, I can add that highlight and it harmonizes with that background. If I add it like right in here in this darker area, it would really stand out from a, contrast wise. And it might just be a little bit too much. Okay, so when you flip it around, you can do the opposite. You hit the other side of the tree. There, the tree trunks, like that. I'm getting a little clogged because I'm going over a lot of this white pigment ink that's down there, and it can kind of get up into your pen nib here. I got it flowing too much there. All right, so see that on that side of those trunks like that. Then we have this like so. And then, see these right down here, these rocks? I won't go overboard with this, but we'll just kind of bring out these rocks a little bit more from the background. It stands out a little bit right here because I'm using white, but you can use a colored pen too, where there's not going to be quite as much contrast. You can use like a, I don't know. I don't think these pens have like too many light grays or something like that, but or if they have any gray at all, but like a blue would be good on here. Or just another color out of the color scheme. And this one, it's a little bit more minimal in terms of our choices because we are just coloring on with black and white inks for the most part on a dark piece of paper. So I don't have like an opportunity to go in here like whatever, yellows and, oranges or something like that if it was a sunset color scheme with a lot of different tones in the background. All right, I'm going to add in some little starry types of things, even on this full moon night, just to get an extra texturing in here over things. And I'm doing this for a reason. I mean, you know, I want it to look pretty decent up top, but also for me, this card is about the lower area and how these objects are reflecting in this lower section. So if I get a little bit more contrast up there, like hopefully those stars will kind of reflect down into that lower area just a touch, okay? Like that. So it gives me a little bit of extra texturing down here because this, for the most part, is just this open field like that. So we get a little bit more maybe variety in there like that. Okay. And let's do some little highlights down here too. I have a couple little opportunities on these rocks because they have some light areas on them. So it just pushes it a little bit more, pushes dimension a little bit more. And textural continuity, okay? So we have a little bit of dots down here, as well as, you know, up top. And like these areas in here are always my problem areas. Just in terms of like visual interest, I don't see it as like something that's standing out. Like that's bad, but it's just not, kind of taking advantage, I guess, of, you know, the things that, the variation or subtle little details that we could have if we had, you know, something else in there. So I'm putting these little, whatever these glowing little orbs are. I think they look kind of whimsical too anyway, like that. But they look similar to the stars, so what I do is I go into them, as you've seen a gazillion times, you know, with some additional white pigment ink, and that'll bring those areas alive. But it's not just for a scene like this, it's because it's reflecting down here, so it's like double the, kind of the, oh, I don't know, I call it like dead area, I guess. Because it's going to be reflecting in the water section, so I don't, you know, if I was just doing the scene like here, maybe that scene looks fine, but because it's like doubled in that area down below, I like to go back in and add these little elements into it. Or whatever effects. And just add a real small amount of it, okay? Just build it up slightly like that. So you have lights from the moon. You have whatever these are, little fairies or fireflies, whatever. Seems like a really cold night for fireflies, but and then you have the lanterns below. So there's like all these light sources in the scene. Like that. And see those little reflected areas like that right down in that area like that? That's pretty fun with the holographic like that, kind of moving like that. Let's see if I can get a little bit of a glowing look here. I'm charging it up with some light. I have no idea what that meant. You see these little glowing lanterns like that. Let's flip off some lights here and let's take a look here. I'll have to do some more of, oh my god, what if we use these lanterns with that glowing, with that holographic? Can you imagine all these things like going, you know, changing colors like that, you know, as you kind of lift it up like that? More, whatever, element prep, right? I think for me, on the horizon. Oh my god, it's still light outside. Can't get used to this daylight savings, even though I love it when daylight savings starts. Okay, let me flip off some lights. It's like that changes every time I flip off another light in here. Oh my god, look at that holographic. Oh, it looked a little bit purple there for a minute there. My camera's picking that up. But look how look at those crazy lanterns like that. All right, now it is like completely dark in here. Let me flip on another light. Yeah, can you see it at all? All right, now it's not a really good representation of what I'm seeing, you know, because my camera's really having to compensate for everything here. Let me try something here too. It's kind of like that. Now the holographic doesn't work without some lighting on there, you know. It needs light reflecting off of it like that. Like it's not picking up any colors because there's no colors hitting that holographic, so. All right, there's just one real dim light kind of hitting this now, but we don't get so much of that glowing lantern look, but you can see what that looks like, you know, with that holographic doing whatever. What is it called? Is it refraction or something like that? Oh, look at that right there. See, that's what's so great about the holographic is you can get like different colors, you know, just depending on the there's our moon there that we didn't see yesterday because there's so much lunar eclipse yesterday. But I saw some moons like that on like posted in Facebook there, like that. See, we got the full lunar eclipse like that, and there's the here's a harvest moon, a blue moon. You get all the different personalities of the moons in there. But look at that, isn't that cool? So that's just like one light on there. Look at that reflection in there too. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Fun stuff, huh? It's really like brings out the kid in me too when I start seeing that. I have before, Josh, at times. Sometimes I put them on eBay, you know. It helps me pay for like sometimes if I have a bunch of, look at that purple one. See, look, I love that reflection down there. It's because the light is hitting this kind of different, like down here. So it's, you know, there's this different kind of dynamic with that. Like that. Look at that. That is so fun. So let's see, let's put this up at a little bit of a different angle like that. It's cards in motion. And see, it's fun too, because when someone's opening this, it's like it's almost like glowing like that. And then you see that movement down there in that lower section, and then they go like this, and that thing's like moving. So yeah, it's just like really fun stuff. I got to try these lanterns though, with all of them in holographic at some time. I think that can look kind of interesting like that. All right, we got the lights back on like so, but I don't know, it's like pretty fun stuff. I want to come up with some like fast version of these too, you know, rather than, I don't know, how long am I here? Like 2 hours like this. I mean, this is a big card too, okay? You know, if we do a quarter page card, it's going to take a lot less time, but there might be some sort of kind of a faster type of application here You know, I'm thinking I want to come up with like a 30-minute version of something like this. So a lot of the things is it's that white kind of background, and you know, like that, doing that little halo in there. We can probably come up with a faster type of thing in the background for something like this, or it just might be working on like when we do like a brayered background or something like that, where it's like transitioning from darker to lighter like that. Okay, and we just brayer it back there, and then we get these little stars. You know, the stars don't take any time at all. Holographic moon, you know, reflection down here, maybe some bushes, maybe don't have to do these things like that. And I think we can come up with a pretty fast version of this type of look here, you know. Anyway. So fun stuff. Yeah, I'm really happy with the holographic. We'll have to see if I can, you know, we can figure out some different types of kind of applications for it in pieces where they're. I've stamped on holographics a lot, but I haven't really used it, I don't think, on elements before to be added into the scene like that. But it's certainly an easy process, you know, so. You know, I'm getting ready for it right here with these ones like that because I thought, oh, that'd be really cool, but I hadn't thought about the lanterns before. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I've sold some of those pieces before. It's especially like if I'm getting ready to do like a new stamp release, because plates are really expensive, you know, for every, you know, set of designs that you come out with, and they're getting like more expensive all the time. So it helps me pay for like a new batch of designs coming out. If, you know, if people, you know, bid on those cards like that. So yeah, but yeah, I'll do that sometime when I get around to it. Do I hear $1 for this? we got $3.50 over there in the corner. All right, folks. Thanks so much for checking this out here and, you know, bearing with me on some of these new types of little processes and whatnot. And, yeah. So this one right here, like I said, we came up with it, you know, from last night when I was thinking about doing it here. I came up with this. This is all like a blobby mess in here. But it's like, okay, so something like this one right here. This one looks better with the lights off. The thing that took me a while is getting that little glow-in-the-dark thing right in there. That's like, was more trouble than it was worth. But, you know, when I added this down and I kind of looked at it in like a reflection card format, see, like that, I thought, oh, that looks pretty cool with this, you know, this blue paper right here. So I thought, let's do something and let's make it a little bit more extensive. Then I just thought about the holographic, you know. Today, as we started doing so much with the glow-in-the-dark sticker paper, I thought, well, you know, yeah, let's try it with the holographic. You know, I'm a slow learner, so sometimes the inspiration hits. Sometimes it like takes like 20 years before I figure something out, you know, that could have been done, you know, like, you know, so simply, but I don't know, it just doesn't occur to me sometimes. Got to start stamping, Josh. I was going to say, what are you and your girlfriend drawing? Do you guys draw like specific things out of your head, or are you guys doing like, do you guys do sketches or, you know, sketch books or anything like that? You guys got to do some sketchbooks. Sketchbooks are, you know, like some of the best things to draw, you know, or to keep. I used to do these things like dream journaling and all that type of stuff. You can do like writing, you know. I do all, you know, these are my like little sketchy types of things like this. Some of these are like note taking, but you know, keeping little sketchbooks like this is really fun. When I used to do that too, I used to start writing down all of my like dreams too. And it was like, I could remember like every dream that I had at one point in my life, because whenever I'd kind of record them when I woke up, eventually I started remembering them more and more. so I can remember, like, the different dreams, not just the dreams that I can remember when I just woke up too. It was really great, but and I stopped doing that. I can probably get back to it, but yeah, you said you started drawing again. Oh, you're an industrial designer. Oh my God. Girlfriend is a graphic designer who sketches. Okay. That's awesome. Those industrial designers, man, I loved. I don't know if what you did in school for that. I don't know how old you are, but were you still using like marker comps, or was it all on like computers when you were in there? But those industrial design renderings were something that in the I'd always walk through this one department to get over to my classes, and the industrial design department was always putting up their comps, and I love those marker renderings that they used to do in there. I always thought that was so cool. And of course, the graphic designers were always awesome too. The graphic designers, I only took like two graphic design classes because I was an illustration student, but yeah, the graphic designers were like so professional compared to us ragtag illustrators. And then like even farther were like the drawing and painting students, of course. We were kind of the illustrators were like in the middle. But the design students were always like, there was a level of professionalism. I took my beginning design class was taught by the head of the industrial design department, and that was my class on color. So we were using these things called color aids, and he was teaching us about color theory and all that type of stuff. So that's where I learned. I talk about that in my live streams here, where like analogous colors create a color glow when you put them next to each other, and complementary colors, create that color vibration, stuff like that. I took from that beginning design class, and yeah, that guy, it was a tough class. All of my graphic design classes were pretty tough. Type and lettering and typography, and at the time we were still doing it by hand. That class was taught by the head of the graphic design department. That was my toughest class, but I got so much from it though. But yeah, good stuff. Oh, you keep sketchbooks. That's awesome, Tony. Yeah, I need to keep drawing in mine a little bit more. Yeah, the dream journals. Yeah, do that. 34. Mainly digital, but definitely markers too. Yeah. What were those? I don't know what markers you were using at the time. I think at the time when I was doing it, it was I think AD. And then there was, what was that other one? I don't know. They had like, I don't know if it was xylene or whatever, super fumy, and I don't know. People always laugh about people doing that type of stuff, like, getting like a buzz off of those markers. Yeah, but those, yeah, I loved those marker comps. Yeah. Oh, you use the Copics, okay. Yeah, back in my day, Copics weren't around, but I did get a set of alcohol markers at that day. They were called Studio 2. But the design classes wouldn't have wanted that out of their students. They wanted those or what was it called? I can't remember. There was this one other brand that had the entire spectrum of whatever Pantone or whatever line of colors. It's that buzz of the markers. It kept me going through school. It only cost you, a few thousand brain cells too, right? Oh, how funny. All right, have a great rest of evening, everyone. Hey, Josh, you should do like a time lapse, do some drawings in that, or you guys can do it like a collaborative thing. Do like some kind of sketchy thing or something like that, and then your girlfriend can do do a layout with it and do it in like time lapse. But I want to see some of those marker types of comps like that. I never saw anyone doing it, you know. I don't know if you might be out of practice with that or whatever, but maybe if you probably, I don't know, do you still have some of those markers on you? Those Copics, yeah, but do some of those renderings like that. I want to see some of that done. I don't think I ever saw it being done. I only saw the end results like that, but that'd be pretty cool to see in like a time lapse of that. Love that stuff. All right, everyone, have a great week. Yeah, have a great rest of evening. And I don't know. Glow in the dark and a holographic, printable being the key word, sticker papers, you know. I think it's pretty fun to add it, to throw into the mix like that, you know what I mean? This would be a different look and feel if we just did like white piece of paper. It'd be more work, certainly, but you can add some really nice effects, you know, very easily with, these other papers that are, available out there and relatively inexpensive these days too. So if you're out of country, I guess, I don't know, someone said they can't get in the UK or something like that. But I don't know, I got to think they're around somewhere, you know, if you're international that you can find somewhere. All of that stuff's like all coming out of China anyway. So I don't know, crafting, or I don't know, general Amazon types of websites out there are the place to look. I'm mainly using the 3D CAD software now. Yeah, that's not as fun watching in time lapse, Josh. Go analog. Analog's coming back, right? And then while you're doing that, listen to vinyl, coming over the, instead of off your phones. Go back to antiquity. All right, folks. Have a great night.